Star Wars just dropped 3 big updates, and each one says something very real about where Lucasfilm is heading right now. Because this week, we learned that Star Wars Starfighter has changed its entire ending. Ahsoka just lost one of its actors over a salary dispute, and Lucasfilm has brought in one of the most decorated composers in modern cinema. And the last reveal, the composer, just might be the clearest sign of how desperate Star Wars is to make its next film really great. Before we break it all down, comment below, what part of Star Wars needs the biggest course correction? The writing, the directors, or the leadership? Starfighter's ending has been completely changed. Let's start with the biggest piece of news. The film set to push Star Wars back into theatres has had its entire third act rewritten and replaced during production. Shawn Levy openly admitted that what he originally planned didn't align, and he had to come up with a completely new concept for the ending. And honestly, it sounds like this wasn't a small tweak. It was a major structural rewrite. The interesting part isn't even that the ending changed. That happens in filmmaking. What's interesting is why, because for months we've heard rumours floating around that Disney might be quietly stepping away from the idea of a Rey trilogy, and if those rumours are even partially true, it suddenly makes the timing of this rewrite look a lot less random. Remember, the original ending was rumoured to involve Rey showing up and training the new characters. Basically a soft launch of the post-Rise of Skywalker Jedi Order. But here's the thing, Rey is still one of the most polarizing characters in the entire franchise, and right now, Star Wars needs a win, a big one. So if Disney looked at the landscape and said, maybe this isn't the moment to lean heavily into Rey again, then it makes perfect sense that they might have pushed this film away from that trajectory. And honestly, Levy seems relieved. He literally said, the new idea is so much better. But while one Star Wars project is shifting course mid-flight, another one just lost a key performer. And the reason why raises some uncomfortable questions about Disney's priorities. Ahsoka Season 2 just lost a Night Sister actor. Claudia Black, the actress behind one of the Great Mothers, has officially left Ahsoka Season 2. Due to a salary dispute with Disney. She revealed that as a single mother, the pay wasn't even enough to keep things afloat back home in Los Angeles while filming in London. Now, this is where it gets complicated. On one hand, this kind of thing happens constantly in Hollywood. If you aren't a marquee name, you're considered replaceable, even in major franchises. And realistically, most viewers probably won't notice the difference when another actress steps in. The Great Mothers have heavy prosthetics, stylized voices, and mystical presentation. Lucasfilm can absolutely swap a performer quietly. But on the other hand, it's still disappointing. Star Wars isn't a small production. These shows cost tens of millions. And the fact that an actor who delivered a memorable, eerie performance was forced to bow out because the studio wouldn't offer enough to sustain basic living costs, that stings a little, especially when Disney is trying to rebuild trust with fans after years of shaky releases. But while one actor steps away, Lucasfilm is bringing someone in. And this next edition might be the most promising Star Wars news we've heard in a while. A 15-time Oscar nominee joins the next Star Wars film. The next Star Wars film has just recruited Thomas Newman, a composer with 15 Academy Award nominations, and some of the most distinctive musical fingerprints in modern cinema. If his name doesn't immediately ring a bell, his work absolutely does. The Shawshank Redemption, Finding Nemo, 1917, Skyfall. Newman's style is emotional, atmospheric, and instantly recognizable. A perfect match for a franchise that needs a sonic identity strong enough to stand next to John Williams without trying to impersonate him. And this marks his first ever venture into Star Wars. A clean slate, a fresh voice, someone who can elevate the film in a way that feels new, not nostalgic. Personally, I think this is exactly the type of talent Lucasfilm should be reaching for. If Star Wars is trying to restore its reputation, especially with theatrical releases, Bringing in one of the best composers alive is a fantastic start, but the real question is this the beginning of a smarter creative direction for Star Wars? Or just another isolated burst of good news in a chaotic era? This week gave us a strange mix of hope and frustration. Starfighter changing its ending mid-production could be a sign that Lucasfilm is actually starting to make smarter course corrections instead of doubling down on ideas that aren't working. Ahsoka losing an actor over pay. That's a reminder that even in a galaxy far, far away, Hollywood's real-world problems still hit. But the addition of Thomas Newman? That's the kind of bold, prestige-level decision that tells me Lucasfilm wants the next era of Star Wars films to actually matter. If they keep making choices like that, bringing in top-tier artists instead of relying on nostalgia, Star Wars might finally find its footing again. If you want more weekly updates, deep dives or breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and join the archives. Thanks for watching.